Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to try to really get into a career that you might not, think about every day.
Okay.
Meat and meat products distribution manager.
Interesting.
We're working with insights from RoleCatcher's career guide, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, it's a role that's, way more than it seems like at first.
Yeah.
We're talking about getting those, steaks and burgers and all that, like how that all gets to your plate.
So, paint us a picture. What does a meat and meat products distribution manager, actually do all day?
So imagine you are completely responsible for, the whole journey of the meat.
Okay.
Making sure that it arrives at the supermarket, restaurants, hotels, fresh and delicious.
Right.
And it's not just the logistics of it, but it's also, the science of freshness.
So it's more than just, boxes on trucks.
Yeah.
It's got to be quality the whole way through.
The whole way through, yeah. They need to be masters of the cold chain.
Oh, wow.
Temperature-controlled warehouses, very careful loading procedures. And this is a 247 thing
Okay.
to make sure that, these trucks are specially equipped to handle this.
It sounds like a very high-stakes job where if anything goes wrong, it's like game over.
Basically, yeah. You got to be someone who can work under pressure.
Right.
Someone who can think fast and adapt.
Right.
And be okay with long hours.
Yeah.
But, big rewards, too.
Speaking of rewards,
Yeah.
what does the career path even look like? How do you start and how do you move up in this field?
Okay, so you could start as a distribution assistant, maybe right out of school,
Okay.
or with a little experience, you're learning the ropes, helping with deliveries, getting a feel for how everything works.
So you're really on the ground floor there,
Yeah.
just soaking it all in.
Yeah, exactly. Then, as you get some experience, you might become a junior meat and meat products distribution coordinator.
Okay.
So now you're coordinating the deliveries, making those connections with suppliers and customers.
Okay.
You're starting to look at the market trends.
So you're starting to see the bigger picture a little bit.
Yes, exactly. And if you're killing it, you might find yourself as a senior meat and meat products distribution specialist.
Okay.
And now you're thinking strategy, right?
Right.
Optimizing the entire distribution network.
Wow.
And maybe even managing a team.
So you've gone from the warehouse floor to leading a team.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But let's go back for a second because besides loving logistics, what makes someone good at this? What are the skills?
You need a lot of skills for this.
Yeah.
It's almost like conducting an orchestra, but instead of instruments, you're coordinating deliveries of,
Perishable items.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And monitoring is number one for obvious reasons.
I can imagine.
It's not just spreadsheets.
Right.
You have to make sure that nothing goes bad.
Right. You can't lose thousands of dollars because something went wrong.
Exactly. You're
Right.
constantly monitoring inventory, delivery times, even the temperature inside the trucks.
Oh, wow.
1 degree off and you're in trouble.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about a stressful job.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. So you have to be really vigilant
Mm-hmm.
and a quick thinker.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You have to be able to react fast because something is always changing.
Right.
Whether, people suddenly want more meat than usual, who knows?
Yeah.
You got to be able to just deal with it.
So it's like you're almost like a crisis manager on top of everything else.
Uh-huh.
And that takes people skills too, right? You have to be able to talk to people.
Oh, absolutely. Active listening. Big time.
Okay.
You have to actually hear what people are saying, your suppliers, your team, the customers.
Right.
They all have needs. And if you don't know what they are, then what are you even doing?
Yeah, because everyone has to be on the same page to actually get everything where it needs to be.
Exactly. And that's where the coordination comes in.
Okay.
You're the link between everyone, suppliers, the truckers, the sales team, everyone's got to be working together. Same goals, quality product, on time, every time.
It sounds complicated.
It's a lot. But, we've talked about the challenges and the skills, but the meat industry itself is changing.
Right.
How do you think these plant-based alternatives and stuff, how does that affect these managers?
It's interesting, right? Because it seems like it would change their job.
It does. It really does. It means that they have to change too, right? Consumers are way more aware now than they used to be.
Right. They want to know where their food comes from.
Exactly. It's not just about logistics now. It's ethics.
Oh, wow.
Where did we get this meat? Was it raised right? And all of that.
So sustainability is a big deal now.
Huge. Working with local farms, humane treatment, it's all got to be considered.
Okay, so we've got changing demands on the ethics side.
Yeah.
But what about technology? Is tech changing how this all works?
Oh, 100%. We're talking crazy stuff. Like, imagine being able to see where every single truck is at any time.
Okay.
And not just that, but like what temperature it is inside. Oh, yeah, sensors that can tell if it went up even a little bit so you can fix it.
That's wild. That must make things so much easier.
Oh, yeah, and AI too.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can like predict how much people will want and like not waste anything.
Okay.
Oh, and this is cool. They're using blockchain now too.
Blockchain for meat.
Yeah. So you can trace it like literally from the farm to the person who buys it.
How does that even work?
So it's like, you know how each block has the info, right? So it's all recorded.
Okay.
Where it came from, when, what temperature, everything. It's all right there.
So it's like super transparent.
Exactly.
Oh.
No more mysteries.
That's really interesting. So we've talked about the hard parts of the job, but why would someone want this job?
Well, you're a part of something really important.
Okay.
People need to eat, right? And you make sure they can.
It's like you're contributing to something essential.
Right. And you get paid well. These managers are in demand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everyone's always going to need to eat.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say someone is listening and they're like, sign me up. How can they prepare for this kind of career?
First, you got to understand the whole system, you know, how it works from start to finish.
Okay.
Like from the slaughterhouse all the way to the grocery store.
Right, so like more than just knowing what a ribeye is.
Yes. And all the rules, like for safety and all that.
Important.
And you got to be good at logistics, obviously.
Okay.
Planning the routes, the warehouse space, you know, that whole thing.
So you're like a ninja of logistics.
Yeah, I like that. But you also need to know about sales and marketing and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you got to know what people want to buy, right?
That makes sense.
You got to stay ahead of the trends.
Like a meat industry trendsetter.
Haha, yeah, something like that.
But how do you even keep up with everything? This is a field that just keeps changing.
Yeah, for sure. It can be tough to keep up. I mean, trade publications are great.
Yep.
They'll tell you what's new in the industry, new rules, even like cool new tech. You never know what's going to be useful, right? So it's good to know.
Knowledge is power.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can also go to like conferences and stuff.
Yeah, those are always good for networking too.
Yeah, you meet the big names, you see presentations about new ideas. You can really get a sense of where the industry is going.
Like the next big thing in refrigerated trucks, that's got to be exciting.
Right. And don't forget online stuff too.
Oh yeah, like what?
Forums, blogs, that kind of thing.
Right.
People share their experiences, ask questions. It's pretty helpful, actually.
It's like the digital water cooler.
Exactly. Okay, but let's talk about something else now. Like, what if you're actually trying to get one of these jobs?
Right, the interview.
Exactly. You got to be ready for anything.
Yeah.
Like, imagine they ask you, how would you guarantee deliveries on time, even with unexpected problems?
Oh, that's a good one. I wouldn't know what to say.
So you got to have a good answer ready, right?
Yeah.
Don't just say something generic.
Yeah.
Think of a real example, like a time something went wrong and you fixed it. Maybe an order got messed up or there was bad weather or something like that.
Right. So they know you can handle the pressure.
Exactly. They want to see how you solve problems, how you adapt.
Makes sense.
And don't be afraid to ask them questions, too. It shows you're really interested.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So we've talked about a lot today. The job, the skills, all of it.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
What's like the main thing you hope people get from this?
I think, you know, this career, it's not for everyone. It's tough.
Right.
But it's also really important. And if you're the kind of person who likes to challenge, who's organized, who can think fast,
right.
This could be a great fit.
It's a career with a lot of potential, that's for sure.
Definitely. And you get to work with food. What's better than that?
That's true. So as we wrap up here, one last thing to think about.
Okay.
We've talked about how much this field is changing, right?
Right.
With tech, with what people want, it's all different now.
Yeah, it's moving fast.
So what do you think? What's next for meat and meat products distribution? What's the future? Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.